So the big one would be escalating costs with suboptimal performance. When the cost of running workloads in the cloud begins to outweigh the value it provides, it's a strong signal that repatriation may be necessary. This often happens with applications that were moved to the cloud without proper optimization during the initial migration, such as poorly executed lift and shift approaches, which everybody used 10 years ago. These applications may incur unexpectedly higher operational expenses due to inefficiencies in resource utilization, leading to unsustainable costs for the organization. So this is an obvious one, but some things that sometimes people miss it. In other words, the reason we're looking to repatriate these systems in many cases, in fact, almost all cases, is they cost too much to run in the cloud. And what occurred in the last 10 years or so is that lots of organizations, and I saw this directly as a consultant, did a huge amount of lift and shifts. In other words, they would do hundreds and hundreds of applications that would be just picked up on a platform that existed on-prem, and then moved to an platform analog that existed on a public cloud provider. And in doing so, nothing was changed. In other words, they just picked up the code and picked up the data, put it on the public cloud provider, recompiled it, getting it, communicating with the data, and kind of call it good. The problem is, in many instances, 5 to 10 years later, after the applications have been running on the public cloud providers for a long period of time, suddenly the enterprises are saying, this is costing me more than it cost me when I had it on a more traditional system, which I was told was a bad approach, and I should move it to the cloud to get the cost efficiencies of the cloud economies to scale, CapEx versus OpEx, all the things we've heard in the past. That didn't turn out to be the case for the large majority of systems that went through this lift and shift kind of journey. And so in many cases, enterprises ended up with inefficient applications that are running on the cloud that work, and they work just fine, but they cost about 3, sometimes 4 times the amount of operational costs than they thought they would be. As I write about in my book, normally on an average, it's going to be 2.5 in terms of the amount of costs that people are incurring versus what they thought they would be occurring. So in other words, they thought they were going to be occurring 1, and it ended up being $1 to operate the system for a system unit, whatever metric you're using there, and it ended up being $2.50, which is a step in the wrong direction.